High-tier B2B providers rarely struggle with the sheer volume of interest. The actual friction begins when sales teams spend half their week politely declining prospects who lack the budget or the scope to ever be viable clients. This is the digital equivalent of a white tablecloth restaurant hanging a bright neon sign in its front window that says, "Cheap burgers here." Crowds of hungry people flood through the doors, see a $100 tasting menu, and walk right back out. This restaurant has plenty of traffic. What it lacks is a reliable way to align that traffic with its actual menu. Your reach might be excellent, but your marketing is failing if it sets inaccurate expectations long before a prospect ever speaks to a representative. This structural mismatch is known as the real versus digital identity gap. This diagram compares the two identities every business maintains. On one side is your real identity, the high-value, complex projects you actually execute. On the other is your digital identity, the generic impression your website accidentally projects to the market. When your offline reality and your online signals fail to match, you inadvertently invite the wrong market segment through your digital front door. We trace this mistranslation through the signal chain, a 5-stage process explaining how high-value businesses get low-value leads. It starts with physical reality. For example, your business requires a $50,000 minimum. Next is the signal. If your website uses vague language like all renovations instead of stating minimums, that reality isn't broadcast. Prospects interpret this to mean you handle standard repairs, setting the expectation your quote will be low. Finally, the prospect takes action. They fill out your contact form, entering your pipeline as a lead you cannot economically serve. Transmission errors in your digital copy ensure the market will act on incorrect assumptions, creating massive friction for your sales team. High-tier businesses are uniquely prone to these signal failures because of the premium paradox. To maintain a polished image, these companies often strip away budget numbers and complex case studies. They are removing the specific signals required to prove their high-ticket reality. A website without specific details functions as an open funnel, when its primary job should be to act as a filter. This chart calculates the cost of that broken filter. When a team fields 20 low-budget calls a month and spends 30 minutes on each, they burn 10 hours of sales time on prospects who shouldn't have reached out. This lack of digital specificity is a measurable leak that directly dilutes your close rate and exhausts your most expensive employees. An effective premium digital presence prioritizes disqualifying the wrong leads over simply maximizing total volume. When your site is working correctly, bad-fit customers recognize they are in the wrong place and self-select out before they ever cost your business a phone call. You can test your own site's filtering capability using the 30-second stranger test. This diagram outlines the criteria. If a stranger looks at your homepage for 30 seconds, they should be able to accurately identify your minimum project size, your typical client, and exactly who your company does not serve. If a prospect is forced to guess those parameters, your positioning is leaking and your sales pipeline is paying for that ambiguity. Poor lead quality is rarely a traffic problem. Adding more people to a broken digital funnel only increases the volume of the noise. Effective growth relies on ensuring the correct segment of the market accurately understands exactly what the business delivers. When you close the gap between your real identity and your digital identity, your online presence stops working against your team and starts functioning as your most effective sales filter.